The following podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised. The Oracle has spoken.
I pressed the button and nothing came up. Why didn't the fucking open? There it is.
This is our ASMR.
Everything's fine.
It's it. Welcome to the ASMRcast.
It is March 20th, 2026.
No.
You're the internet and I am Kevin Blades.
Don't say those words. It's bad. Everything that's happening right now is bad.
Everything is bad.
Welcome to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet Podcast, the only podcast to combine the subjects of gaming, tech, media, and puppets for no easily explainable reason. It is March 20th, 2026. You are the internet. I am Kevin Blades. My pronouns are he, him, and this is episode 6 of season 4 of Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet Podcast. Joining me is my co-host. His pronouns are he, him. It's Andrew, aka Bat Phantom.
I don't understand why I'm here.
It's weird.
The time is all wrong.
What's going on? How is this even possible?
Someone called an audible.
So I don't know that we've ever done this. I know we have deferred it a week when someone's been away.
Yes, we've definitely done that.
But I don't know that we've ever actually moved it up a week. So what's going on, everybody, in case you're confused?
I know I am.
As much as we are, is that... so Andrew would have been away during the time that we would have been recording the next podcast. And then I had this crazy thought this week was like, well, I want to get 2 out for the month. Every month I want to try and get 2 out.
Our advertisers require it. So
Yes, all of those advertisers that are just lining up.
Brought to you by Operation Puppet.
I'm deep in the pocket of Big Puppet. But so if we had deferred it a week, we wouldn't have got 2 out this month. I wanted to get 2 out this month. So I look at the calendar and went, hang on. This stuff happens. This is the thing about 2026. I don't know if anyone's noticed. Stuff tends to happen, and a lot. So there's stuff to talk about. So I went, how about crazy thought? We do a podcast this week, then we pick it up again when Andrew comes back. Mm-hmm. So that way we actually stand a chance of getting 2 out on a monthly basis as usual.
Based on my current observation, we will in fact get 2 podcasts out in April.
See?
Were we to reconvene on the following Friday upon my return.
There we go. So perfect. So lucky you get twice. And I mean, most podcasts do weekly, so I don't know what I'm even making a big deal about. But.
Also, don't assume this is going to be a shorter podcast just because it's only been a week.
I actually had assumed we would do a quick one.
Yeah.
And then stuff happened, and stuff continues to happen. So I don't know that it is going to be a shorter podcast.
I'm hoping it'll be a little tighter, but let's see what happens.
I guarantee you the puppet pit will be shorter.
There you go. That's
so
a good.
At least we can get that out of the way super quick. Yeah. So I don't know. Anything happened in the past week that's worth talking about? No.
Wow, I was trying to think of something.
I'm looking the glazed look in your eyes.
Like, honest to God, it's this week. So, I'm going away. So this was what I was going to talk about, and I'd forgotten about it. Just that the mindset, the vacation mindset, when you're like, okay, I'm going away. So I would have preferred to have taken this cruise much earlier. Like December, because I just wanted to get the fuck out of Dodge.
I mean, no kidding.
And my friends were, they said, let's go at the end of March. And I'm like, sure, that's fine. And it is fine. It is fine. It's good, actually. Anyway, it just meant that I just had to push off several months, and that's fine. So, this, and I still feel like I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm not leaving until Thursday. So my brain is still like, no, we're this, all of this is gone.
You're done.
The month of March has effectively been a write-off. It's been busy at work mostly, but this week it was dead because it is currently the end of March break for the Ontario
Right.
schools, high schools and whatnot.
That's the
regular
thing
schools.
that exists.
It is. Now, my workplace is not affected by that. We do not close for March break because, we're professionals. So shit happens regardless, but less shit does happen during these times. So we didn't have nearly as many events as normal. There were still a couple, but so I've still been kind of mentally writing off everything, and I'm trying to just
You're checked out. You're checked out.
Oh
already,
my
yeah.
Lord. That's my point is I've basically been checked out since the beginning of March, just mentally, even though I wasn't not scheduled to leave till the 25th. This whole month has just been assuming I feel like I'm leaving in 2 days for the entire month. And then, by Wednesday, I'm like, I have to pack. But yeah, it's annoying. But yeah, so it's just how your brain operates. Like also things like I want to go on Wegovy. I think I've mentioned this before. I want to start taking Wegovy for weight loss. I had
that is a
it's an
supplement?
Ozempic competitor.
Right.
Basically, it's just easier to get Wegovy for some reason, even though
for those
it's effectively
for
the
those
same.
who don't know.
Right. You see the ads everywhere. Even in Canada, they can advertise Wegovy. We're not going to tell you what it is,
Guess
but you
what?
should totally get it.
I don't know what it is because I never see ads. But anyway,
The TV and print and
Guess what?
If you go to the Eaton Center, there's ads all over the fucking Eaton Center. There's ads for this thing. It's
Guess-
just insane.
guess what?
Yeah. Guess who doesn't go to the mall?
Yeah, I don't go to the mall or watch TV or
Yeah.
read print.
Oh, it's such a different world. Yeah. So I've been putting off starting that. My initial idea was once we committed to this trip, I'm like, all right, well, I should start in December. Well, so as I get back from visiting my mom, I'm gonna get on it, put the application in. I'll have been on it for a couple of months, and then it'll be easier to deal with because I'll getting through all the bullshit or whatever, and then I'll be in the system.
You'll get a jump start.
And then it's like, but then I'll be on the cruise while in the early stages of this weight loss system on a cruise where there's
do I want to know
millions
what
of food and
oh,
drink.
I see what you mean. Right.
And just like the point of
You want one last hurrah. This is it.
well, it's kind
this
of
is
yeah.
it. This is the whole
And
like
it's the whole mentality of if I can lose a bunch of weight and get to a reasonable weight, then I can splurge on when I'm on vacation and just live normally otherwise. And then I won't, I'll gain a few pounds during the trip and then I'll lose it soon after and then life will be fine. So I just kept pushing it back. And now I'm exactly where I knew I would end up, where I haven't started the process. And, when I get back, I can finally have no excuse.
I mean, I don't know where your head is at, but I know for me, in situations of an equivalency, that kind of suits me fine because this is I don't know, maybe it's the goth in me, but I'm into like apocalypse mindset. I'm like, this is fucking it. It doesn't matter. This is the last thing. This is the final hurrah. We're just gonna go fucking hell for leather, and then we'll deal with the aftermath. Right?
Well, in the apocalypse mindset, the phrase that keeps coming back for me is enjoy yourself. It's later than you think.
Yeah. Yes.
So
exactly.
that is it's a very critical phrase that keeps coming up.
I have a very strange connection of that sentiment with the Phantom Menace. I'm sorry to do such a segue.
No, that's
it's weird.
that's
You
interesting.
hadn't finished your thought. You should probably finish
No,
your
that was
thought.
pretty much it.
Okay. But you're good though. You're ready for the last. You're just gonna go hard and then
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy myself.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be stupid, but I'm going to enjoy
No,
myself.
be stupid.
And then when I
man.
get
this is your last chance to be stupid.
Well,
I will tell you, as somebody who was heavy and has lost a lot of weight,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't stop. Like there's no goal line. Right. So
yeah, there's always going to be
if
something.
you've got one last fucking chance, take it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's my only piece of advice. Just do that. But in the apocalypse mindset, I can't believe this is how the intro is going. The Phantom Menace. So, what was it? 1999.
9.
That's right. Wow. Yep. There are those memories.
It was a
just
hell of
came
a
back.
year.
So in the same week, I lost my employment, which was lucrative at the time, my partner at the time, and had to move out of my apartment that I loved at the time in the past couple of years. And so I lost everything. It was just like disaster. And so I had like the last paycheck had just come in. At this time, I was in the process of making a Star Wars fan film, and I had a whole cast of friends who were on the cast. And this new Star Wars film was coming out, right? And everyone had their hopes hung on it.
Oh Lord, yes.
So I went fucking Hail Mary, right? I bought everybody tickets to the premiere of The Phantom Menace with my final paycheck. And it was just like this. We're going to go down. We're going to go down in flames, but we're going to celebrate it.
Yeah.
Right. And then it was The Phantom Menace. It's like, what have I done? So this is why for the first about 2 weeks or so after The Phantom Menace came out, I was in total denial. I was just like, no, that was awesome.
Yeah.
No, you don't understand.
Yeah.
I was the guy who was out there doing the like Jar Jar apologist things.
No, I remember the only thing I'll say is that Jerry Seinfeld had a bit about with the pitch of your voice determines how you really feel about something.
Okay.
And I remember we came out of that going, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I was I think we were definitely riding high. But yeah, no, I was like, oh, it was good. It was good.
So yeah, that's my one example of that apocalypse mindset where it's like you're just gonna damn the torpedoes, doesn't matter what happens tomorrow.
We're gonna have a good time.
This is it. So, and unfortunately, it was the fucking Phantom Menace. It's like the one clear. I mean, I've done it a lot, most of my life actually, but that's the one example that I could point to say like that's the time that yeah. Oh well, guess it worked out okay in the end.
Sure did.
Because I'm still here, so you know.
All these things do have a way of working themselves out.
It kind of is. All right. So speaking of coping, I don't know. I'm trying to segue. Here we go. Coping mechanisms. So this is the part where we talk about things in the past week, in this case, that have inspired, distracted, or otherwise enlivened us or have just been a positive force in our lives. And I got something, boy. I got a good thing, too. So, and this just happened the other day. Have you heard of Alan Lomax?
He's the guy that likes the trees.
No, that's the Lorax.
Oh,
that's
shit.
different. That's Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dr. Zeus.
Oh shit. Okay.
Hey.
We're gonna be like that.
We're going to be like that. Yes, we are. So Alan Lomax, I believe the technical description of Alan Lomax would be an ethnomusicologist. He was the son of a somewhat famous folklorist. He himself was a folklorist, but his particular area of interest was in not necessarily indigenous, but like folk music, basically. Now, we're talking about the 20s, 30s, and 40s was his time period. Now, he became very interested in black folk music of the time. And this is when there was a blues revival was starting to happen in the 40s and 50s. This is what led into rock and roll and all that kind of thing.
Okay, I think I have heard the name.
So one of the things that Alan Lomax, who was an audio engineer, basically that was his job, one of the things he realized was like we've gone a couple of generations now into the blues. Like the blues have been around for a long time at this point, but he realized that like since we've had a couple of generations now and most of the original blues musicians were like impoverished people in the southern United States and the recording technology just didn't exist at the time, and even if it did they wouldn't have had access to it. We are at risk of losing like a lot of the oral history of a very like a fundamentally important structure of American music at this time. So he took it upon himself to like just. I'm afraid there's a bit of a white savior narrative in this that can be pointed out. But
he's a tech nerd.
But the thing is, this is a kind of a good example of that because he had the means and he understood the importance of it and he could get this done.
Right.
So he did it. He took every bit of recording equipment he could find that he traveled throughout the southern United States. And I'm talking like he went to plantations, he went to farms, he went to penitentiaries, he went to small communities, and he just talked to people who were there on the ground, the just ordinary average people, got their stories, and most importantly, got the recordings of the music that they had inherited. Mm-hmm. Alan Lomax's archives are one of the most important historical musical documents of the 20th century. Like, these are fundamental. And I mean, when we talk about the blues, we're talking about literally the fundamental sound and the fundamental structure of all Western music since then. Everything that has happened since the blues have either been a derivative of or a rejection of the blues. But the blues are an inflection point of all popular music. And so, of course, this is seminally important. And for somebody who's interested in history and archiving culture, right, this is unbelievably important. And one of the reasons why historians, being a history buff, I know about this stuff, don't have complete pictures of cultures is because we don't have an archive. We don't have a record of this stuff. Stuff wasn't written down. Stuff wasn't recorded in some way. And this is what Alan Lomax set about to try and redress, because he understood the importance of it since his father had been a folklorist gathering stories of ordinary people. And that's my particular area of interest in history. So, of course, this all, and of course, my love of the blues as well, really, really appeals to me. Well, just this week, all of the 200,000 recordings that Alan Lomax made, and I'm talking about a guy out there with a fucking reel-to-reel tape recorder, right? Like, this is the 40s he was doing this. So he's out there recording all this stuff. All this stuff has now been digitized and made available online for everybody to grab and download and listen to. It's just now available.
Wow.
So the Alan Lomax archives are now available and through his foundation, the foundation that he started. And it is glorious.
Yeah.
Now, I will, caution you. You're not going to, these are obviously this is folk music sung by people just in small community. This is not like a guy in a studio with a production. Like, you're not going to necessarily be entertained by this music. It doesn't necessarily sound good, but it is a vital historical document of this stuff.
It's what they're saying as much as what they're singing.
Yeah, it's absolutely, and you can, because of this, you can trace the history of certain songs that are seminally important in the American musical lexicon. It is you cannot overstate the importance of this stuff and the fact that it is now available for just everybody.
It's funny to think somebody recognized this as their opportunity. It's like, yes, I in fact am the one who came up with this lick, and then just started playing Robert Johnson shit.
There was a lot of that happening. Oh, that's part of, actually, Robert Johnson was one of the people who was like that. I mean, the whole myth of Robert Johnson was kind of made by Robert Johnson.
As most are,
he knew what he was doing, basically, right? Yeah. So the whole myth of Robert Johnson started in the 40s, right?
That makes
sense.
It
was the fact that he died young, and he kind of developed this mythologization of himself. And that in itself, the whole mythologizing of the bluesman became part of the blues tradition itself, right? And all of that stuff is documented in here. I mean, one of the recordings I just listened to the other day was he literally went into a penitentiary, and the inmates sang him John Henry, right? Just unbelievable stuff, just so important and vital. And it's a gift that this stuff is now available.
Where do they put it?
I have a link on the.
I mean, I'm just curious what site it is in general.
It's Alan Lomax's actual.
Oh, okay. So it's not on
foundation.
archive.org or anything.
I'm sure it is by now. It better.
But there's so much though. Like you said, 200,000 tapes. I mean, Jesus, it's a lot. Overwhelming. What they need to do is just take all of those digitizations, put them into ChatGPT, and say,
don't even
make me the best blues album of all time.
If you go, the thing is, that isn't just a catalog of his recordings. There's a map breakdown, so you can search it by area and then see pins on a map of where all of the recordings took place. And it's unbelievable. They've done such a good job. It's an
incredible endeavor.
It is fantastic. So wow, what a gift.
Yeah.
That just So there. For those of you who love music and history, there's a little treat for both of us. Now, what you got?
I got a funny guy from Quebec.
Hey, I like funny guys from Quebec.
Ryan George. He got big online thanks to a show called Pitch Meeting, which you may or may not have seen. It was part
it's
of
ringing a bell somewhere.
It was part of, I think it was Screen Rant. He was on Screen Rant just doing Pitch Meeting, where it's basically him as two parts. He was the writer and the producer, and the well, okay, then that whole bit where they just go back. It's great because it really takes the piss out of Hollywood blockbusters.
I automatically want to get him to write something for the Oracle.
Well, the
Oracle and Frankie would be like
ironically, he looks exactly like Jamie. Like it's freaky how much he looks like Jamie. But so he had been doing Pitch Meeting for a long time, and then finally got away from Screen Rant, and he still does Pitch Meeting, but he doesn't do it as much. And now he just mostly just does musings on the world. But he's got such an amazing vibe. He's a genuinely funny guy. He's very sweet, but he's from Quebec. But he doesn't have the accent, so he's like English Montreal basically. But he's
probably worked hard.
But he's surrounded by
Yeah.
French people. I mean, it obviously influences what he does, but he's just so funny, and he's actually he's done a couple of ads in that same style for a couple of companies, so he's getting paid, which is nice. But it's just good to see a homegrown talent that's true to himself. He had a rough go. His father passed away last year, and he shut the channel down for a couple of weeks. And he was very open about it. I shouldn't say he was open about it. He just said he had to stop for personal reasons for a while, and then he said what had happened. But and the community around him is super positive as well. So he was able to just not have to shut everything down, and then he finally started producing again in late January, I think, early February. So he's been back at it, but his stuff is consistently hilarious. He's also just one of these guys who's just trying to find his way because the YouTube system is so fucked.
Oh, you're gonna tell me?
Yeah, I mean, you're doing what you do, and people love you for it. Then you try to do something different, and you get punished by the algorithm. So you run back to what brought you to the table, and then I'm
still in the process of going, fuck you, I don't care.
Right.
Like, I'm just gonna do what I do. I'm gonna do puppet building and Warframe videos on the same fucking channel. I don't care.
He's definitely worth checking out though. Like if you've ever seen Pitch Meeting and enjoyed it, he's having a lot of fun with his new material, and he's tries to be pretty regular about it. Very smart guy, very good writer, and totally worth checking out if you haven't looked him up. It's Ryan George.
Ryan George.
Or if you just look up Pitch Meeting, you'll see his stuff as well. But got to represent the Canadian boys.
I was just thinking, in terms of vacations, speaking of, I'm trying to wrap it back around to what we were starting talking about before we move on. Because vacations are expensive and we really can't afford to. But I went to Quebec Quebec. I'm sorry. I'm saying it with an accent when I say Quebec. Quebec. When I was young, when I was a kid, it was a school trip. And I remember walking around I want to say old Quebec.
Quebec City.
Yeah, Quebec City, but there's
Quebec.
There's
old Quebec.
There's an old, the old section. And it was fucking magical. It was like this mystical. It was because it's literally laid out. There's like cobblestone streets. It was literally like I'm walking around a magical medieval city.
It is an excellent getaway.
It was wild, and it just blew my brain. And I realize now, being an adult, that it was like, well, basically it's because Quebec is laid out very much like a European city, right? So, for obvious reasons. So it's like. That's the difference. It's much more European than it is North American.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we could just go back there. We could just go there.
Because it's an excellent getaway. I mean, they consistently bring it up, and you see ads for it every couple of years. They'll do another big campaign.
My French is not good, so you'll
be
struggle,
fine.
but
they're fine. They're not stupid. They speak it. They just pretend they don't.
Oh well, yeah, no, I know.
Obviously,
I know that.
Montreal is English as hell, but Quebec City historically is a little more. Obviously, it's more
if we
French,
stick to the tourist areas, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem.
No, you'll be absolutely.
That might not be a bad.
I think it's a good idea because, like I said, it's a reasonable vacation.
That's
it's very
probably
simple to
something
get
we
there.
could swing. But
Yeah. So it's a good idea.
All right. Well, anyway.
Operation Puppet, brought to you by Quebec.
I'll
Bienvenue à Quebec.
The Quebec Tourist Board.
So we're going to Quebec. Hey, that's cool. I don't know French, but I'm sure they'll love me.
There you go.
So, yeah, anyway. Okay, we're going to take a quick fake break, and we will be back with the Puppet Pit. You have entered an alternate dimension, a dimension of fleece and fur, of foam and industrial adhesives, so I hope you have good ventilation. A signpost up ahead. Watch your step. You have just stumbled into the Puppet Pit. Welcome to the Puppet Pit, where we talk about the puppet side of Operation Puppet for the past week. Because that's what it's been. And so it's going to be a quick one, let me tell you, because it's only been a week. And in that week, so those of you who joined us last week may remember that the previous builds were a couple of smalls and a purple monkey. Well, the purple monkey, as anticipated, sold pretty darn quickly, and I have another client who also wanted a purple monkey, and so I said, well, look, I got enough fabric. I can make another purple monkey, and they said, great. So I said, great, and I made another purple monkey. So this week was another purple monkey. Purple monkey got done this morning, period.
Haven't you always wanted a monkey?
Haven't you always wanted a monkey? And purple is just, I don't know why. I said this last
pleasing.
time. I don't know why purple monkey, but purple monkey good.
It's purple monkey pleasing.
So that's what I did this week. I made another purple monkey. And because of that, yesterday that was supposed to be the build stream day, I had a really wicked headache, and I was literally at exactly the same point in the build that I was on the previous build stream.
That is funny.
So I'm like, I would be doing exactly the same thing in exactly the same way at exactly the same time.
You should have tried to answer the same question.
Yeah, so I could have, but I kind of felt
See how far it
crappy,
goes
and
before somebody goes, wait a minute, is this a repeat?
so that's why I posted. Just look at the VOD, because that's what I did today. So that's what I did yesterday. So yeah, there was no build stream yesterday. Next week TBD, because I had planned to make another legally distinct celebrity amphibian, but I just got a client request and I don't know when we'll finalize it, so I may be working on that this week. We'll see. Next week we will see if there will be a build stream. But that's kind of it for what's gone on puppet wise in the past week.
Well, busy though. That's important.
This month ended up being okay, which is fine.
Yep.
I really kind of needed that. So we'll see next. All I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get to TennoCon.
Yep.
Once I get past TennoCon, then I can like commit time to other things. We will see what happens after that. But I'm just trying to survive until TennoCon. There's the apocalypse mindset right there. Right? I just got
right back at you.
to get to fucking TennoCon and done. I don't care.
And then you can nuke them all.
So anyway, that's what's going on puppet wise. Not a lot. I have some thoughts brewing for the next Oracle episode. We will see where that goes. I really want to get something else out there. It's about time. I mean, I look at the videos that have been posted on the channel, and it's like the last video that was posted on the channel was the video version of this podcast last week. So what's going to happen is there's going to be 2 podcast videos in a row. I would like that to not be the case. So there's going to be something else, hopefully soon. As soon as my brain goes, inspiration, here's a funny thing, that's when we'll do it. But
well, I mean, I think you could easily make one about what we're going to talk about.
There's probably a few things.
I think that is an area that is ripe with material. So I have a feeling it's not going to take much to kickstart the
I suspect
the
you
creative
are
juices.
Correct. So anyway, yeah, OperationPuppet.com for all of the links. You know the drill. And yeah, so we will see where it goes next week. And if you want a puppet, get in touch, because I'm available.
Your boy wants to make a puppet. Won't you let him make you a puppet for money?
You know you want one.
You need a puppet.
How could you not want a puppet?
Get a puppet.
It's not possible.
Customized puppet.
If you're listening to this podcast, you probably want a puppet. I can make that happen. Okay.
Celebrity amphibians.
he's lost it. I'm sorry, everybody. He's drunk. He's not drunk. He's had one.
I'm a little drunk.
I've had two. You've had one.
Yeah, but I'm a lightweight.
That's true. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with Pixel Town.
The sky above the port was the color of a YouTube video locked behind 17 unskippable ads. Around the rainy streets, people dodged out-of-control robo-taxis and shot down delivery drones carrying $50 burgers. Here we fight the corporate ecologies and get excited about avoiding our phones. Welcome to the mean streets of Pixel Town.
Welcome to Pixel Town, where we talk about tech, gaming, and all things thereunto or related.
It's funny how every element of that actually triggered something that happened this week. When like almost every one of those beats, I could say something about each of those.
The $50 burgers. Where did that
Well, we did
come
the
in?
$50 burgers last time.
We did.
But the Waymo thing, Steve Marsh, my boy Steve Marsh, was in San.
It was a Waymo thing.
He was in San Francisco. Well, getting hit by the driverless cars.
What?
Isn't that what you said? No, he didn't get hit. He was in one. He took a Waymo for a short distance.
Okay.
They were suitably terrified for their drive. It's just you just can't accept it. Your brain just goes, this isn't right. There's nobody driving this car.
Man, I wouldn't do it.
What the fuck?
It.
And then they got scared at one point because there was a cop moving traffic, and they were on the route. They're like, what the fuck happens now? Like, I think what happens in that situation is that a person takes over the car. The person
takes over.
So
yes.
somebody gets the flag that says there's a cop doing stuff. What do I do? What do I do? And they go,
you know how you can avoid all this? Get a fucking person to drive the car.
He just I think he wanted. I mean, obviously, it was for the video. He just wanted to have a moment because it made sense. It was fun, but it was a nice video, and but it was very cute how they were clearly just like, what the fuck is happening?
I would not. I would probably do it for the video.
Yeah.
But
I don't see me volunteering to grab a fucking Waymo. I don't even think it's that much cheaper. That's the other joke of it.
Of course not.
If it was cheaper, then maybe. I don't know.
Anyway, Deck Nook. There's going to be a Deck Nook because I think this happened either today or yesterday. I don't remember. You can kind of sort of buy a Steam Deck again. There are certified refurbs, at least for a little while, available in North America.
The problem is it's also coinciding with the spring sale.
Yes.
So there's a little more attention, so the odds are they're gone.
They're probably. I haven't checked. Actually, let's check live. Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
I was doing the same thing, but I'll just talk while we're checking.
Please talk.
It's
no dead air.
Well, I would think that most people who are considering getting a Steam Deck have been motivated in the recent times to pull the trigger, because
sooner rather than later.
Man,
right?
it's still tricky. ETA Prime did a video actually where he got his hands. He bought a ROG Ally non-X on eBay for like 200 American. Which is
I don't have
crazy.
Steam installed here, and it's not showing me the store page. Oh wait, there is one available, one left. Jesus. Like one model left, and it's the 512 OLED.
Yeah, so there you go. So move fast.
I'm
guessing
they were all available like literally this morning.
If you're listening to this, it's probably too late.
It's probably gone now.
But it was a refurbished or maybe just a used ROG Ally. So it's the non-X, but it's still more powerful than a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can get one of those for less than $200 American, I mean, that's a good deal. It's still a solid piece of kit. It is, like I say, it is more powerful than a Steam Deck, and you can put Bazite on that, no problem.
You sure can.
So there are alternatives out there still. So don't discount, especially if the price is right, to get one of the alternative hardware pieces. So
get what you can while you can, because you ain't going to get it like anytime soon.
Yeah.
So next in the kind of Nook adjacent news, apparently this is according to reports is the only source for this. So take it with a grain of salt. The Switch 2 is going to be getting a new model particularly geared to Europe because of the new European regulations, that has a user removable and replaceable battery.
So,
which is a very good thing.
it's a full on no brainer. There's no reason they shouldn't be replaceable. Joey Does Tech, which I think I've probably mentioned many times on the show. In the early days, like 2 years ago, almost all of his videos were switch repair.
Right.
And it was a pain in the ass taking the back off, but once you got it open, it was pretty easy to get the battery out. It just, the fact that they had adhesive to hold it down was the only mildly annoying part.
I've taken batteries out of a fucking MacBook Air.
Yeah.
Like, I know pain.
Yeah,
I know
the
having
worst.
to get like 99% alcohol and dissolve the fucking
But
adhesive.
it's still in a way that you could do damage if you aren't careful.
You can not only do
on a
damage,
Switch
you
easily.
can hurt yourself. You can set your fucking house on fire.
Well,
Like,
aside from the battery itself, I'm saying like just the simple act of taking the tab out for the that holds the battery cable in, you could just destroy it.
Easily.
It's not easy to do. So I'm curious to see how they implement that. On a side note, they the new Apple Neo book,
Neo
MacBook, whatever they're calling it,
MacBook
the
Neo.
dirt cheap one, that has a surprisingly easy to replace battery.
I saw on iFixit they had like a really high repairability score.
I think that's because it's an iPhone.
Yeah,
The whole unit is
but iPhones don't.
So,
have-
but if you take an iPhone, but if you had the space
Yeah.
to spread it out in that configuration, then there's plenty of room for a battery, and that's effectively what they did. They said, "Yeah, sure, fuck it, here you go.
Yep.
Yeah, we can make that battery a little easier to take out. Why not? We're only charging $500 US for the student edition. So what the hell?" So yeah, it's easily replaceable by accident.
Yeah.
Because they're being so cheap with it anyway.
serendipitously.
Yeah, so that's amusing, but we're getting there. More and more of these companies are
And I mean,
realizing
this is entirely because of the European Union legislation about having to require removable and replaceable batteries.
I thought you were going to say that they were forcing them to put like alternate OSs on it or something.
Not
That would've been
yet, but
interesting.
I think I've heard something about that it needs to be. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, okay, the European Union legislation does some stupid shit,
Yeah.
and they really do, but they also have done some very important good shit. The only reason that the last couple of generations of iPhones have had USB-C ports is because of this.
Yeah.
This is exactly we'd be still on fucking lightning cables if it weren't for this.
Yeah.
So this is a good thing. Embrace this. The speculation is that it's not going to be financially viable for Nintendo to make different models for North America.
Yeah.
So there may be just a new Switch 2 model coming that has a replaceable battery.
Yeah, if they're going to if they have to make it run US or EU software, I don't know if they do region blocking for.
Oh, I'm
European.
sure they must. I
don't know.
guarantee you, I would put money on it.
It might still just be Japan and the rest of the world because that's how it was for the Switch.
Right.
So I don't know. That's good though.
But it's good. That is genuinely good news.
They get forced to do something that's good for everyone.
Here's a funny story related to this. When I got my last iPhone, which is a couple of generations back now, it's a 15, I think. I don't remember. I was still on an iPhone that had the lightning cable, and I got fucking sick of it. And I'm like, I am not getting the next iPhone. If I get another iPhone, it's going to be. This was before they did the Switch. I said it's going to be USB-C or I'm not getting another iPhone. And then they switched to USB-C. So I got that one. I haven't got one. I mean, I literally can't afford to get one since. And it doesn't matter because my phone's fine. My phone does everything I want as fast as I want. So I don't need to upgrade. But I didn't realize at the time that the eSIM thing, that Canada still legislates that you need to be able to use a physical SIM.
Huh.
The States does not. So the iPhones that are sold in the States only use eSIMs.
Right.
The ones sold in Canada also can still have the regular physical SIM slot.
But they do take.
But
eSIMs.
they also
eSIMs.
take eSIMs. I didn't realize this at the time.
I'm surprised they can do that.
They can, and they did, because I had already switched to an eSIM, assuming that my iPhone would require an eSIM, and then I got it, and there's a goddamn slot there, and I popped the slot open. It's like, and then I did a little research. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sakes, I didn't have to do that at all.
Well, it didn't cost you
eSIMs are a pain in the ass. Let me tell you, if you want to switch phones, eSIMs are a pain in the goddamn ass. I wish I hadn't have done it. I would much rather have a physical SIM that I could just pop into another phone.
I love eSIMs for travel.
Okay, I don't travel. Right? So, yeah, I could just take a physical thing and pop it into the other phone and just, would be...
there was, a period of time where you would get to the airport and get a sketchy local eSIM or a SIM card and pop that into your phone. That's what I did in Japan, so.
I would much rather have a physical SIM than an eSIM any day. But anyway, that's just related to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the 400-pound elephant in the room.
Yes.
we got to talk about this. This is the advantage of doing a weekly podcast, is the fact that like stuff will happen and then like a week goes by and we don't get to it until it's old news. Well, this is still at least lukewarm at this point. DLSS 5, huh?
It's what's interesting about it is how it played out, how the news played out.
Yeah.
Because now we're both pretty in touch with that side of the internet where people talk about these kinds of things, where there's a lot of focus on the technology.
We're hooked into the meta. We're part of the conversation.
But the way this played out was so insane. Like, they made the announcement at GDC with their big presentation, and they released the video, and the usual suspects, Digital Foundry, liked it. That was and so
put a pin in that.
Well, that's exactly. Yeah. They at the time they initially said, "Oh, this is really impressive what they're doing with this technology.
Look at this whole thing. This is a big deal because of what they're doing with this.
They didn't really get into it because it was still, and this is where we stand in news in this world, because you got to move fast. So as soon as they made the announcement,
they did the React video, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. And they have had a lot of positive vibes over ever since they left IGN.
Yeah,
the community has wanted Digital Foundry to do well, and that was pretty much out the fucking window as soon as they said, this looks really interesting.
DLSS 5,
and it was incredible how fast the community dogpiled on them for this, because are you fucking high? So just as a quick rundown, we're not going to get into the technical side of things, but what DLSS does is it makes your game run smoother. That's the core idea of it.
Okay. The original DLSS.
Of course. No, I'm leading up to that. So I'm saying that the technology is designed to enhance what the hardware can do.
If I may, it allows your game to run at a lower resolution than it does natively, and then upscales it to a higher resolution so it doesn't visibly appear to be in a lower resolution.
Right, which of course which improves the frame rate dramatically in many cases. So the Steam Deck relies on this technology.
That's FSR, but it's the same
exactly
process.
the same general idea. Yeah. And it has been getting better and better. Each iteration of DLSS that NVIDIA, this is the NVIDIA side of things, that they have released, has offered what initially was frustrating. It was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do here, but no. And most gamers chose not to use it because at the time, most of us would have preferred just the proper brute force. Because the corporate way of looking at this is also, they want to be able to sell you a cheaper card that they have a higher margin on, than try to sell you the high-end stuff, which they may not be able to make as much money off of. So ideally, in their mindset, they want to be able to give you something that they can fake the performance on and make more money off of. So up until this week...
So I want to say there is a distinction to be made here, just sidebar, between DLSS and FrameGen, because they're not the same thing. And one of the things that, like, I know people like Gamers Nexus has talked about is the fact that NVIDIA has leaned on them to include FrameGen in their benchmarks,
yes,
and which is not DLSS, but is tied into the
Yeah.
you need to use DLSS to do frame gen.
I'm simplifying this,
yeah.
obviously, because there are two different ways that they get extra performance out of the card.
You need to use DLSS in order to use frame gen, but frame gen is not DLSS or FSR.
As a side reference for frame generation, the best thing I can give you an example of in outside of gaming is, of course, motion smoothing on television.
It literally is motion smoothing.
It is.
That's what
When you're watching a TV show at your parents' place and they've got motion smoothing on, most of us that are nerds freak out and immediately grab the remote and change the settings because it gives the classic soap opera effect. And in movies, it's a nightmare because, as I have said before, you're adding information that isn't there, that was never meant to be captured by the filmmaker. So they're making it look smoother, but it was never supposed to look like that. And that's why it's bad, even though a lot of people prefer it because it's nice and smooth. So you
it
really
still looks
have
jarring, though. It still looks
it is,
just there's
absolutely.
something fundamental in the back of your brain that goes, "This is wrong."
But also, the way it's implemented is also very haphazard, even on the newer televisions. Like, it looks smooth when it's just two people in conversation, but then when there's high action, it loses it, and then it loses that smoothness, and then it grabs it, and then it loses it again, and it's that jarring transition between it being successful and it failing that it's a problem. So obviously in gaming, it's a very similar situation where if you are aggressively doing frame generation, it can be very noticeable. And
it also, sidebar again, it also introduces control lag.
Absolutely. So when you're and as a Digital Foundry in the past has shown, but this is also one of those scenarios quite often where they have to go into it at half speed and zoom in on things to show you where the flaws are. And that's one of those situations where many people go, yeah, but play it back normally. Let's take a look at it. Then they play it back and you're like, well, I'm never going to notice that weird blur behind them, but it's there. And once you notice it, it's
asterisk.
it's going to bug you.
You won't consciously notice it,
right?
But something about it will feel off.
Exactly.
And that's the point.
They were also pushing it very hard back. It was like, this is what we want to do. And obviously we're not ready to do that yet. So, but the technology was present. And again, it was, thank you for the option. No, thank you. We're going to turn that off and just use regular let the engine create the frames that are there that are still fine. I mean, if you get 60 FPS out of a game, that's plenty most of the time. Sometimes you want more, but as you said, the lag is a problem. So if you're playing a twitchy shooter, you want the real frame generation because it will affect your gameplay. So, and in the last year, I will say there have been some truly remarkable shifts in this technology not just frame gen, but also the actual upscaling. Exactly. So they're doing amazing things with that. And just this week they released, I think it was last week they were talking about it. I think we talked about it on the cast, I'm not sure. PSSR 2. Yeah. Which is really just on the PlayStation Pro, which is their new iteration of that is upscaling. And it's great. It's really good. I mean, they've done the deep dives, and it is markedly better than the first iteration. So I just installed the update last night and turned it on, but I'm not currently playing anything that's using it. I'll get into that in a minute. But it's by most accounts, it's really, really good. Yeah. And everybody that has a Pro,
which is great because we need that shit. That is important.
Absolutely. And it's if it can give you a real 60 frame plus experience and still be 4K, or at least look 4K and look amazing, then that's a win. And that's great. So the fact that Sony released this and it came out and it was a good thing, and everybody was happy, especially with Digital Foundry, who did these videos where they did the deep dive. Yeah. Because the first game that used it was Resident Evil Requiem, and they were showing how it's notably better with this, which is great. This is all we wanted. I will make another sidebar. AMD, I believe we did talk about this last time, how they have also been implementing their own version of this FSSR. But they have chosen to not implement it on previous versions of the hardware, which is a giant kick in the nuts.
Unless you're on Linux.
Right. So that was
there are ways.
So AMD lost points in the last 2 weeks because of their decision to not talk about it. And on top of that, all they want to talk about is the next version of it, which is they're calling FSSR Diamond because fuck you.
Lord.
But it's also tied into Helix, which is the new Xbox hardware. So they're looking to the future, and they're saying what we're going to do is going to make games look incredible when it comes out on the new hardware, because we're going to be using these systems
That no one can afford and is not available to buy.
Exactly.
And
So-
doesn't actually exist.
So AMD had a chance to take the lead and at least get some brownie points, but they have basically been radio silent about implementing the newer versions of this on the older hardware. They just don't want to deal with it, and it sucks because AMD also in the news this week only has like 5% of the share now, the market share. Like Nvidia just they were crawling up, they were doing quite well, and now it's back down to 5% because
they got a little bit of like good PR, and then they just blew it.
yeah, and as that's always been the way with them, so it's been very
I
frustrating.
mean, my important machines are all AMD, but that's only because I'm on Linux.
yeah, and I've still got my 6900 XT, which is still great, but it would be nice if I could run some of these on it if I really wanted to get into it. Anyway,
Well, I can help you there.
yeah. So then Nvidia shows their demo of DLSS 5. So and it's interesting because the last announcement was actually DLSS 4.5. And that was the last one that everybody was quite pleased with. Like, oh, what an excellent iteration. We cannot wait to see this. And then they showed 5. And it has been incredible.
So I will say, like, the fact that we have to distinguish here between what the thing is and what the marketing terms are.
Yes.
Because this layer of generative AI abstraction, whether it's a post-production filter or not, which is the part of the conversation, has absolutely nothing to do with actual DLSS. It is not related in any way to upscaling or frame gen or anything like that. What we're talking about now is a completely distinct and separate process. And the fact that they have now lumped this in with the DLSS thing is 100% marketing spin and bullshit. Don't buy
The
it.
fact that they announced this at GDC to smart people.
And they thought this would be a huge win,
Right.
obviously.
Obviously, this should never have been called DLSS 5. This should have been called NVIDIA Super Awesome Filter or some bullshit. Just come up with some new fucking name for it and pretend like it's a whole new way of playing games.
But if they did
and
that,
they could have had a different
then
conversation.
it would seem like a separate thing,
Right.
whereas this now seems like, oh, it's the evolution of something else.
But if you haven't seen it, and I'm assuming if you listen to our podcast, you already have, you need to see
If you'll follow
what.
my socials, you've seen some memes.
So the memes were obviously Fast and Furious, which is totally understandable. But just the core image that they used to push this technology of Grace from Resident Evil Requiem, and they got the before and they got the after. And the before, it's a perfectly normal shot of the character that everyone has played this game, looking, just standing on the street, looking normal. And then after, it's an Instagram filter.
It really is.
They literally yassified her. That's the phrase you'll keep seeing about it, because that's what it fucking did. Is it gave her fucking plumper lips and eyeshadow and made her eyes a little bigger and made her prettier. And it
gave her, it could literally change the character's bone structure.
Like, yeah, they gave me a little lifted
what
her.
the fuck?
And they said, "This is fine. This is good that we're doing this."
No, gamers want this.
It is incredible how ignorant it is to say, what if we just, and they didn't even push it as we're going to make her hotter. It was just simply, we're going to make everything look better, including her. And so there was a couple of different, in the initial video that came out, it was her and then Leon, who also got looks maxed and his shot. And then the Harry Potter game, they turned a 15-year-old into a 30-year-old. And then they turned a 60-year-old into a 100-year-old woman because they made her wrinkles deeper and craggier. And it's just insane. And then they used it for Starfield. And the Starfield, because the Starfield designs,
And now it's just different characters.
well, this is it. The Starfield designs were disappointing when the game came out. Like because it's still using the same fucking engine as Skyrim.
Todd, talk to me, Todd.
So
I
they
can
just said, no, we're just going to keep using it because it's so good. And it looks like ass. It just doesn't look right. It should look a lot better. And so they run the filters on these characters, and all of a sudden they look like people. And that's the shift, is that it takes them from being...
Yeah, but in those, like, I'm standing in front of you, looking in your eyes, talking directly, right? I'm not doing anything. I mean, the second they do something, suddenly now we're in an uncanny valley.
Yeah, and this kind of technology, if you were to use it in a conversational game, like a visual novel or something, maybe. But I mean,
in which case you would need to use it because you just designed the characters that way in the first place.
So again, I don't know what they thought was going to happen. So obviously the conversation has been like, this spits in the face of the designer. And NVIDIA has to go, no. We're going to work with the designers. We're not going to do anything. You motherfucker, look what you did. Look what you used as an example.
You've already done
can't,
it. Like,
you don't get to take the high ground about this and say, we're given the tools. You have shown what your vision is for this. You want to let the gamer decide what works and what doesn't. I mean, we've been dealing with this for years. Once the generative AI shit started, one of the first things people did in the meme was take the picture of Aloy from Horizon and make her pretty. Give her a big smile and it was pathetic. But a lot of people looked at it and went, yeah, that is better. Like, no, that's not the fucking character. That's not the way this was designed.
We're circling right back around to the feminist conversation with the male gaze, and like, but that's 100% what it is. Like, there's no way around it. That is what it is. That's what we're talking about.
It's unquestionable what they did to these images. So then the question was, is this actually an engine thing, or is this going frame by frame and running a Gen AI over it? And they pretended like, no, this is the engine. And then,
Andrew, we're completely wrong.
Yeah,
Jensen said we're completely wrong.
All gamers are wrong about their interpretation on this.
You don't understand. The thing that you saw, you're wrong about.
Yeah.
You saw it with your own eyes, but you didn't because you're wrong about it.
You weren't looking at it right.
So, you're not holding it right.
But the fact that, and it's been broken, and other journalists have talked to NVIDIA about this, and NVIDIA tried to PR speak it and accidentally said the truth. These are straight up running frame by frame. They're running it through the filter every shot. It has no respect for.
It's fucking
depth.
Obvious.
Yeah,
like it's really obvious. I don't know.
And it sucks that all we have to work on right now is the video that they released, which was obviously what we used to call bullshot. Bullshot was back in the day when they would post a picture of a game from EGM, which was clearly staged, and there's no way that this is actually from the game.
You know what the demo was running on, right?
Yeah, two 5090s.
Two 5090s.
One 5090 was running the game. No, seriously, what they said that one 5090 was running the game, and the other one was doing all of the work to
all
make
of the
different.
Post-processing work to add the Gen AI garbage into this.
All it took was $10,000 in hardware to do this, but we're totally going to make it run on a normal card when it's ready to launch.
I'm sure.
So, so the video that they were breaking down, and Metal Gamer Jesus stepped down and has given us a proper
Gamers
breakdown.
Nexus, Steve
broke it down and showed
Burke.
Steve and the team, not just Steve, obviously the team. All they have to work with is this one video that has been released, which NVIDIA presented as examples of the technology.
This is what they gave us. This is what we're going to use.
It's an absolute fucking shit show. The best is the FIFA sequence where they get the friggin' soccer game, and like the ball turns into this translucent orb when the guy kicks it. It just ceases to exist and distorts his own face as it passes by. And I could easily.
I love that when his hand disappeared.
Yeah,
like, that was great.
You could. I mean, I was half expecting NVIDIA to go, no, that was the YouTube algorithm that broke that, or the YouTube compression broke all that. It looks perfectly good on the floor. Totally their fault for compressing it. But yeah, no, it clearly is murdering the image to make it pretty. And you should watch Steve's video if you haven't. It's great. But again, they're offering to make everything look better. That's the way that they're trying to present this. And better meaning better than what the creators intended.
What better means is bright, way like
blown the fuck out.
Boost the contrast.
Any light source you had, like that was another one from Starfield. There was a guy wearing a ball cap, in the image, and it's casting a shadow over his face, and they turn the filter on, blast it all to hell. It's gone. The shadow's gone. It's just making his face brighter because obviously whatever information they told it to emulate a Ring camera, basically.
Yeah, but that's exactly. I think it was Steve or somebody was like, everything looks like it's shot with a ring light.
Yeah, and that's it. It's like make everything look like that, and it did. And this is the kind of thing where if you showed it to regular people and did like an A/B, like which one do you like better, and they go, oh, obviously the B.
That's the problem, right?
Yes.
Is like normal, as always, normal people are the problem. Right? Because they probably would look at this just like they leave motion smoothing on their TVs, right? And go, oh, well, this one's clearly better, right?
But as you said, this whole presentation was for the shareholders. It was not for not for gamers.
That is the important thing we need to keep in mind, is that none of this was for us. There's 2 points that I want to bring to the table that I think is most important to keep in mind when we talk about all of this stuff and things related to this. Is, first of all, billionaires do not live in our world. They absolutely do. They have no connection to it. They are looking at it like they are an alien species on another planet trying to discern what we do from vague signals in the ether. That's all. I keep coming back to the William Gibson quote from, I think it's Mona Lisa Overdrive. I could be wrong about that. But when, like, she looked into his cold gray eyes and knew with mammalian certainty that the incredibly rich aren't even remotely human. Something like that. I'm mangled that quote, but it's really kind of true. They have absolutely no relationship to our world or the real world or how people live their lives. It's fundamentally, when you get that much power and money, your brain changes. How you think changes.
So here's the other thing that I haven't seen anybody address, to my knowledge at least. I don't think this is intended for use on our graphics cards. I think this DLSS 5 is absolutely designed for GeForce Now.
I know where you're going with this. Yep,
because
absolutely.
This plays heavily into their system where they don't want us to own hardware anymore.
This is, and again, we're coming back to Steve at Gamers Nexus. We're just shills for Steve now.
Did Steve talk about this too?
Steve he didn't address this exactly in this way, but this is kind of connecting the dots, right? Because what they have talked about is the fact that the whole, and we on this very podcast have talked about the trajectory of things is taking compute out of the hands of people.
Yeah, you will rent compute.
You will own nothing. You will rent everything. Yeah. Right.
And this plays
and that
into
includes computers.
They will say, well, I mean, obviously you don't have 250s.
You can't afford.
But we do.
Yeah, exactly.
We can let you use ours.
This is running on a data center somewhere. Yeah. This is streaming to your screen. This isn't something you own.
And I'm kind of shocked that wasn't the pitch. Was that this is what we've really done here is we have taken 720p gameplay and up-resed it through this filter to make it run at 4K on your TV and make it look beautiful.
You know what? That actually is this. We are now coaching NVIDIA. This is the smarter pitch, is to say, well, no, obviously you're not going to run this locally, but we can run it in our data centers. If you subscribe to GeForce Now,
$39.99
you
a month.
get this.
Yeah. Now you have to pay for the $39.99 a month version in order to have this level of quality. Otherwise, if you'd like a lower resolution, we can set you up for $22.
Jensen, you should be fucking listening to us. And stop wearing those jackets. They look terrible.
As I've said, the issue is going to be if this is too successful. Like if everybody and their dog started going with GeForce Now,
successful?
I'm saying successful in that people actually start using it.
I see what you mean.
So then, major game comes out 2 p.m., 10 p.m. on a Friday. Guess what's going to happen? Everybody and their dog's going to try to play it, and everybody's going to get either have to sit in a queue for 3 hours to play the game that they supposedly paid for, or B, everybody gets a 480p stream running at 30 frames if they're lucky. That happens to also apply magic to make it look like it's almost okay. And the problem is most of the punters will never know the difference.
Well,
they'll just look at it and go, well, this doesn't look right, but I guess I need to play it anyway.
Look, the pigs are going to get their slop. And that is what happens. We can't stop that. There's nothing about that that's going to change. That will happen. And
the funny thing is that I guess this has to tie into into the AI system, the fucking places that'll run all this shit, that aren't just doing ChatGPT. They'll also be doing video stuff.
Oh yeah,
and that's if you're running it out of those same giga houses.
All of those data centers are not just doing ChatGPT.
Right. So I mean, and that's obviously going to be one of the vectors for these.
The reason you can't buy a video card is because they're going into these data centers.
Right, and then they're going to just rent it back to you just when you need it. So it's just been, like I say, it was amazing how fast this all went down. Like, because the video came out, and before people had a chance to really even see it, they started just hearing the rumble from the commentary from gamers about how much of a fucking nightmare this is, and they're going to be doing damage control for this. No,
they don't have to, because we're wrong.
No, I think that now that as people have looked at it, whatever they offer next is going to be very scaled back. But the fact
I like the fact that Digital Foundry basically posted a mea culpa.
Oh God, yes. They're like, guys, look, now here's the thing. If they were just trying to be positive, is how they're kind of framing it. We were looking at it immediately. As I said, it was more of a reaction. Like we're looking at this for the first time.
You know what? They were looking at it with their normal person brain.
Right.
Like that.
And it went by so quickly, I assume at the time, they didn't go, wait, go back? What is she? What the fuck did you do to her face? The fact that was the first image they showed in that demo was her face. Yep. And to do something so obvious as to just run it through a fucking Instagram filter. Where are we going? How do we come back from this?
We know where we're going.
So this is all still moving. I mean, they didn't even give it data, I don't think, for when they think this will be ready. But
this year, apparently?
Yeah, but the fact that they needed two 5090s to do this today, that's not going to run. Even if it did run on a single 5090, that's still right now. That's a $5,000 video card.
Yeah, how many people have a 5090? Not many.
It is incredible that they thought that this was a good idea. And as I said, they were doing so much good with this technology up until 4.5. Like, they were doing a pretty incredible thing, and they were getting to the point where I could turn it on and not say this is a nightmare. Like, I turn it on and go, I was actually defending it to say, when you're playing the game, this actually looks good.
Most of the time, at least upscaling, either DLSS or FSR is good.
You're not going to notice that the fence is a little flickery sometimes, or like occasionally in a quieter moment.
Older versions,
right?
You could definitely tell.
Yeah,
but it's still. I would rather have the frames.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just mention quickly. So in our attempt to dig through the pile of our older games that we have. I started playing Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh,
now the sequel uses PSSR2.
Okay.
But the first game does not.
Right.
But it does offer a balanced version or a performance version. So I turned on the performance.
FSR2, you said?
This one doesn't use PSSR2. This one just uses it. I don't even think it's technically a pro update for the first game. It's just you can brute force a fair performance.
I see what you mean. Right,
it looks fantastic. I turned on the performance mode because I wanted the silky frame rate. I probably could have just left it in regular and just let it brute force and still look good. I'm still gonna fuck around with it. I just barely started it, so but I just wanted a good action game, and it's been on the pile for a very long time. And I figure this is probably 20 hours or so. I could crank it out and then play the sequel, which will use all the new fancy shit. The same way that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is not enhanced, but the second game is.
Right.
So gotta work through it to get to the good stuff.
Okay, sure.
So anyway, I didn't put that in the notes, but so I am happy to let them give me the upscaled versions and have the experience and then decide whether or not.
Upscaling good. Yeah. There's no good. Yeah. Okay, that
got technical, and I apologize to our listeners who don't like the technical stuff.
What are they listening to us for? Mm-hmm. You come here for puppets and technicality. Yeah. That's what you're here for. Okay. A great look at how broken mobile sites are. I did actually look at this link, and yeah, no, this is something as a former web developer, I am well aware of this whole.
This came up on Blue Sky this week. The 49 megabyte web page. And if you have any background in design at all,
I mean, Jesus Christ, I am a former web developer, front end as well. So I am deeply consciously aware of the load on end users for web pages.
If you've ever gone to a website with your phone and gone, what the fuck am I looking at? This page gets into very deep explanation as to why it is a nightmare. And it is incredible because this blog does an amazing job breaking down everything that's happening in the background on that website. When you go to the New York Times as the example that they're using at first, and the fact that just as a taste, basically as soon as you go to the page, there's an auction for you between the advertisers. Like based on who you are, they immediately start fighting each other over who's going to get to take over the page, and that alone takes time. There's a pause while it's loading the page, while it's letting them duke it out before it even starts to load the shit that's going to break your phone by the time it gets to it. All you want to do is read a fucking news article, and they have to hit you with a dozen things before that can even happen. And it's so highly recommend reading this post. I'm not going to read it out loud, but it's definitely worth looking at to really get a sense of just how fucked everything is.
If you've ever gone to like a mobile site on your phone and it's been absolute nightmare, this will tell you why.
Yeah.
This is what that comes down to.
It's great.
Okay, Crimson Desert, huh?
So I mentioned Crimson Desert a couple times because it's an anticipated title. It's a big action RPG in a very sprawling world, and it's been fascinating just following the reactions.
There's been
to
a
it.
conversation about it.
Yeah, and I didn't see it there. I didn't think there would be, honestly. When it was announced, I'm like, well, that looks pretty, but I think it's just going to get lost in the shuffle.
Weird. So for me, because I have played a fair amount of Black Desert Online, the company that makes this is basically a prequel to Black Desert.
Yeah, it's like a solo version of the game in a lot of ways.
But in the timeline, it actually takes place before Black Desert. But so it's just been kind of odd to me because like Black Desert, it's your kind of standard Korean MMO full of microtransactions and sexism. Like it's just that kind of thing.
They've already sold 2 million copies.
It's weird. This has become almost like just a fever thing. Like
the closest thing I can compare it to in the timeline is really the Black Myth Wukong, which came out a couple of years ago. Even though that was a Dark Souls game, but visually it had that realistic feel to it. Like it was trying to bring fantasy to life.
This has got like people who don't really know anything about it. The hype was just such that the hype itself became like sort of feeding on itself.
So,
right? Like,
and obviously, if you watch any gameplay at all of it, you're just going, well, that's not a game. It's not real. Come on. You can't tell me that that's an actual current generation video game. That's insane. It's stunning. It's visually incredible.
But honestly, like Black Desert is also like that.
Yeah, it was. It was very much ahead of the curve. Like anytime you watch footage of that, you was in the same mindset.
Until you actually start playing.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of what's happening here, where most of the general feel is that it is insanely massive. The game, it's the area that takes place in it is colossal. There's always stuff to do. There's so much to do in the game. The breadth of the tree for the skill tree and doing what you want with the character is there, but the story's dog shit. Like there's the story that's there is very, very simple and not super compelling, but the world itself is something people really want to immerse themselves in. So, and that's good. It's a good thing to celebrate. But the Metacritic dropped down to 79, and that has had an impact on the company. For whatever reason, that has been they've taken that as a disappointment, and therefore the publisher has
the stock went
like 15% drop over this week, which is. They sold 2 million fucking copies, and they're like, sorry,
Andrew, number go down. Number go down bad.
So it's. I'm not saying that everybody should have given a 10 out of 10, but it is shitty that this is
Metacritic should have never become the thing that
God, no.
careers hang on.
Well, and there was the infamous, I can't remember which game exactly it was. I feel like it was New Vegas, where the bonus that they got was tied to the Metacritic, and it got like a 79 instead of the 80, so it cost everybody millions of dollars, which they had a good laugh over. And I'm sure that it's possible that there was some chicanery there, and that the company they paid somebody to tank it, and it's too bad that the score's too low for your bonus, guys. Jeez, we feel terrible, but that was the deal. But the game, there's too much by most accounts. Like, it's got crafting, it's trying to be everything for everyone, which is unnecessary. If they had taken out half the systems, it would be a better game. But it's like they had to have crafting, they had to have base building, they had to have all of this shit. At least they told themselves
there's
they
a
had
little
that.
too much in Black Desert as well.
And for an MMO, I get that, because you want to keep people playing long term, because it's an MMO. Whereas this is an RPG, you don't have to keep them hooked, because the idea is that people throw 100 hours into it and then move the fuck on, or get something else. But they felt like they had to still offer everything, which compromised a streamlined game. Like, this is kind of a producer failure, really, that they the feature creep took over in so many ways. So it's still worth looking into. I mean, it's a full price game. It's $89.99 for the PC version. But it's trying something different. It's a new world. There's a bit of a hole right now for a lot of people are looking for something to play. And it's definitely worth looking into. But like I say, it's just the fact that they're trying to do so much with the game, rather than just be a good game. Tell me a good story. And this is a perfect example of a game that was probably a bad idea to play on launch anyway, because something that's trying to do this much is going to have bugs. Now, I haven't heard about any game-breaking bugs or anything like that, but this is the kind of game where you really want to let them patch a couple times before you start throwing, because you don't want to put 100 hours in and have them say,
this is meme fodder. Right?
Well, that's it. You don't want to go 100 hours in and have them say, yeah, there's a game-breaking bug about the 80% mark that will break everything, so you're gonna have to start over. Like, that's the worst thing you can tell somebody. But this is exactly the kind of game where generally you want to just wait for the Game of the Year edition in a year and just pay $10 for it, or $20.
There's no like FOMO. There's no like.
Well, that's it. You're not going to miss out on the story.
It's going to be the same game next year as it is this year.
People are streaming the shit out of it, and that's understandable, because again, it looks fantastic, and people are really, really into it, and that's to be expected. Anyway, it's worth paying attention to.
It's got AI art in it,
Sure, why not?
Somebody on Reddit posted today that it's a particular mansion. There's a painting on the wall, and when you look at the painting, it is so obviously old, bad AI.
Yeah, like Gen 1 shit, DALL-E.
Mid-Journey garbage. Yeah. Like, it's just...
That's a shame, but it's totally understandable. But, it's not acceptable, but it's understandable. And then, you got games like Pocopia, which many people are saying it's the game of the year. Honest to God, people are totally in love with it. Mm-hmm. And that's good. I mean, I'm not paying $800 to play it, but a lot of people are, and that's fine. But at least it's a solid game. It's unquestionably a game people are happy to put their time into. It's also a large scale thing, and then you can get a lot out of it if you want to design stuff.
The amount of playtime out of that,
exactly.
Then sure, fine.
Yeah. So at least it's delivering on that level, whereas most of the Pokemon releases of the last decade have been disappointing. So that's good.
All right, here we go. Good things, believe it or not, have happened, and today a good thing happened. As we talked about last week, well, it happened this week. Today, literally as we're recording this podcast, Marvel Heroes Online /Omega Server Emulator 1.0 was released in full glory, and it's out. You can go and download it. You can run your own server, and the biggest user-run server, Project Tahiti, has indeed updated. They tried to launch this morning, and the shit got weird. Things went wrong. So in grand MMO launch tradition, they had to take the server down and wait for the lead dev to like finish work and get home.
That's amazing.
So they knew what was wrong. They just had to like fix a few things, but they were at work and they couldn't deal with it, so they had to come home.
It's incredible that they scheduled it on a work day for that person.
They
could have done it on Saturday.
They wanted to schedule it for the 1.0 release, obviously. So
Yeah, but
it
still.
was really kind of out of their hands. But anyway, they got home, they fixed it, they launched it, and I was literally playing it just before this podcast. Now, it's had a real good response. Project Tahiti server, and yes, it is just a server, has been hammered.
Oh God!
So last week,
The server slam.
was the server slam, and they got a pretty good response. But let me tell you, most of the people who ended up playing on Project Tahiti did not participate in the server slam because that server got slammed, boy. Let me tell you, it was still a bit dodgy at times. The last time, just before we started recording that I was playing, the server had kind of evened out a bit, and I saw a post from Monel, who's the name of the lead dev on Project Tahiti. They had posted that like it looks like the server is kind of load balanced now. Things seem to be a bit smoother. So I was occasionally hitting lag spikes that were like affecting gameplay.
Did they put a queue?
There isn't a queue. I don't know if there can be a queue. So yeah, that was one of the problems. I think things are probably okay now. Things are a bit smoother. It was the initial response that there was like literally, I think, a few thousand people trying to, and I'm sure it is just a machine sitting somewhere, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's not, we're not talking about a data center or anything. They may be running it on a VPS. I don't know. But nevertheless, it is running well. And I have decided, actually based on the Project Tahiti experience, so I had decided that I wasn't going to run my own server.
Yeah.
Because I just don't want the bother of dealing with it. And I also want to be able to play with other people, obviously, because a lot of the stuff in Marvel Heroes is tuned to multiplayer stuff, like the end of game raids and things like that. So I was let Project Tahiti do its thing. I will join that, and it's all good. And then, of course, this morning happened where you literally couldn't play on Project Tahiti for most of the day. And I'm like, this is an object lesson, because we don't know where things are going to go now. And I think things are legally a bit questionable. I know it for a fact, it is not a legal issue to run the server emulator. The server emulator uses none of the original code. It was entirely back engineered.
And every person playing it has
the client
to the client. Yeah.
So what the actual legal issue is in distributing the client files. That's where things get weird.
Yeah.
If you already owned it on Steam, as I did, it's not an issue.
Yeah.
So that's that. Now, as we know, cough looking at you, Nintendo, a lot of big companies don't give a shit what the actual laws are.
Right.
So they will try and shut down anything they don't like.
Just to bully them with the lawyers.
So exactly. So if Disney decides they want to shut down this thing, they probably can on a whim. And I want to still have access to this game. Now, this is the nice thing about having, a open source project like this that you can just go and get, because I did. Mm-hmm. So I am going to run my own Marvel Heroes server and play on it occasionally. I am still going to play on Project Tahiti as my main server.
Yeah.
But I'm still gonna keep those files around and keep the server running and
for posterity.
Just in case something goes wrong, I still have access to this game that I have literally put hundreds of hours in. I think Marvel Heroes is the first game that I am aware of the number of hours. Like, I looked at that number on Steam and went, oh. Right? It was like, I think it was like 400 hours or something like that I put in. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot, actually. It turns out I played a lot of this game. So, from a game preservation standpoint, this is really important. And this is a big win for those of us who are interested in that kind of thing. It seems like nothing in the big picture, but like, as we talked about with the Alvin Lomax recordings, preserving culture is important. This is one small piece in that whole puzzle. So
I mean, there's almost no way that we'll get to play Destiny 2, the open from the beginning again. Like, they've taken that away. It's been vaulted, and they can't replace it, because based on the lawsuit that happened, they can't even refer to the original files anymore because they're gone.
Right.
So that's lost. The Red War, the major opening of Destiny 2, would have to be recreated from scratch if they wanted to bring it back.
Right.
And that's unacceptable. But that's how corporate gaming is operating.
That's where we are.
So-
So yeah, but anyway, that there we go. So that's what's happening currently.
And again, if you ever download it, if you ever bought it on Steam, you can jump on.
You can download it. It's literally
It
like
was free to play, wasn't it?
it was free to play.
Yeah. So if you ever, at some point, if you went, I need to try this, you've probably got it in your Steam library, and if you do, you can now play it.
If you don't, there are ways. There's a pinned post on the Marvel Heroes subreddit that has a link to the Internet Archive where you can go and grab the client that you need. There are ways.
That's something you would probably want to move quickly on.
Absolutely, but we could get you up and running. No
And again,
matter
keep
who
in
you are.
mind,
Yeah.
it's free.
Yes, and not only is it free, like both Project Tahiti and the Marvel Heroes server emulator developers are like adamant about not accepting donations. They don't. This is entirely voluntary. Like
If I take that letter, then that means I know where Michael is.
that's exactly it. All right, so we're going to end on another interesting note. So Warframe got hacked.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. It's good that they're notable enough that they were targeted for something.
And this is literally a Actually, I should check because this is developing as we speak. This was just happening like a few hours ago. I'm going to check now. So what was happening, I'm trying to cover for pasting things because I'm sure Andrew doesn't know about these things. So I'm going to keep talking so there isn't any dead air. Okay, so yes, as of a few hours ago, some people playing Warframe started noticing that there were these anomalous, unusual group invites suddenly appearing. Now, a group invite is like, I'm playing on multiplayer. I'm going to invite you to my team. I send you an invite. You get a pop-up. You say yes or no. These invites were appearing, but they didn't look like normal invites. You couldn't tell who they were from. And it said weird shit. Like one of them said, your account has been compromised. Jump off a cliff, accept or decline. Right? It was like really weird shit. And there was even weirder ones than that. So people start freaking out, obviously. So what it appears is that like somebody has managed to do like a kind of man-in-the-middle attack and start sending these alerts or these invites randomly. Now, the problem is there is a behavior that I'm sure that the hackers were exploiting. And it is when you're trading in a Warframe, when you're going to like trade, you've got a set of whatever and you're going to trade it for platinum. You'll put a post up on like warframe.market. Someone will send you a tell. You will send them an invite. You will go to the dojo and that's where you can do the trade. That is a standard procedure. It happens hundreds of thousands of times a day in the game. So what the behavior that I'm sure they were exploiting is most of the time, if I send somebody a tell saying, hey, I'll pay you this for that, they don't respond. They just send you an invite. And then you just accept the invite and you go to the dojo and you do the thing. And it's really quick and easy and it's no problem. So a lot of people would have just seen an invite pop up on their screen and automatically click yes without reading it, right? So a couple people did that. It doesn't appear at this point like there was any actual secure information or account compromises. I will just read the thing here. This is from Rue, who's one of the community managers. Firstly, we apologize for the distress this issue may have caused. Bad actors were able to interrupt and change the squad invite text fields to show up as a customized message. As the investigation is currently ongoing, we want to assure you that no accounts have been compromised and nor data exposed, and it is safe to continue playing Warframe. This was strictly a change of the invite prompt. If you have concerns about your account, blah blah blah, submit a ticket. So that is the most recent information. Status update: the team is continuing to investigate alternative solutions. For now, direct game invites will remain disabled until the game launch of the Shadow Grapher on Wednesday, which is the next big update. Yeah, and that's it. That's all we know right now.
So the advantage right now is that Warframe is not a game where people pay money for things.
But that's not necessarily true. Like, because you can pay money for platinum and then you can trade that.
No, but I mean
platinum
like items, like, in Diablo back in the day when people would pay
right.
money for extremely rare items.
Well, there is also that.
Is there
a little bit, not a lot.
So even okay, so I'm not surprised that there isn't something
minor things. Yeah,
like people sell accounts. I'm sure. Like, here, I've got this.
I mean, there are players. There are platinum farms that just like that's what they do.
I mean, any game's got that, I would imagine. But I would think that it's not big enough that there's enough attention that people would have to do this.
I think this is one of the problems, the fact that like Warframe is currently experiencing a lot of success, and they're on the rise, and their numbers
more
are
attention.
up, and
the same way that nobody made Mac viruses until Macs took off.
Exactly. This is the price of success. Is that suddenly
we don't have viruses because we're Macintosh.
They're a target now because they're like popular. So
you're successful now. Here come the hackers.
That's just so deeply weird. Like, I can't even.
Hey, 10 years in, this is the first time they've had to make an announcement like that.
13.
13.
Yeah, this 13th anniversary is this week, so it's like, wow, weird. I haven't played all day.
You're all grown up now, Digital Extreme.
Yeah, really. So developing, because we just don't know. My plan is to stream some of the Shadowgrapher next weekend, because, we're not doing a podcast, so I'm going to do something, but we'll see about that, because that's...
I will quickly mention Marathon has launched their endgame content this weekend, or what the system will be basically for Pinnacle players. So it's effectively kind of like a raid. It's also kind of like Trials of Osiris, which is it's Pinnacle shit. Like, people that are really good at the game are now given truly difficult tasks.
Sure.
And it's fascinating to see. It's worth firing up a stream just to watch these guys try this new area. And they to open it, they had to run this insane ARG that was really complex. And if you've ever been interested in an ARG in a game before, like this started back in Halo 2, ironically, which was Bungie, but they had a very complex one involving in-game elements, but also you had to use the Discord, and it all tied together, and it revealed some really cool lore and videos and stuff. And it's fascinating to look at if you've ever been interested in real world ARG stuff tied into a video game. It's really something else. But yeah, it's I'm not playing it, and that's fine. I'm happy to watch it. It's very cool, and I'm glad they're doing well. But the real test will be after this. Now that this end game content has come out, and now the game is effectively out and fully exposing what it is, and now people can choose how long they want to play it for, and if the numbers start to drop off.
Now we're in the real.
Exactly.
It's at least it got a good start.
It is. It really has been a good start for them, which is nice.
All right, well, that will do it.
I refuse to be on the show next week.
Okay, good. Well, don't stream the Shadowgrapher with me.
I will also not be joining you on stream.
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, everybody. If you've made it this far, it's a little bit shorter than a regular podcast, but hey, what you're going to do is it's a whole week between them. So, that's how it goes. Okay, so I'm not sure when the next one will be, but it will be next month. So thank you, everybody. OperationPuppet.com for all of the links, and we will catch you next time. You have been listening to Pixels and Puppets, the Operation Puppet podcast. Visit www.operationpuppet.com for all our links. Tell your friends, give us a rating wherever you get your podcasts, and join us again because nothing is more entertaining than aging nerds giving their opinions on the internet.